In addition to the digital prototype of the robot and the new battery holder, the design team have asked me to document the part. I'm going to do that by creating a drawing and an English ANSI template. Again, if you're using metric, you can choose from a couple of templates here. Probably ANSI or ISO will be the typical choices. I'm going to go back to English, ANSI, and create that new drawing. This piece of paper is a little big, so I'm going to change that. So I'm going to edit it and change it from this current C size and change it to an A4. When I do that, the title block becomes too large. It's the large option, so I'm going to delete that. Into Drawing Resources and select the smaller of the two title blocks. Eventually I'll use iProperties to put some text in that title block. Start by creating the base view. Now that's not the view I want, so I'm going to change that to right. That is the view that I want, and it's probably a little bit too big. Change the scale to 1 to 2 and start to place the views. In this case, 4 views: front, top, right side, and isometric. So we'll create those views. Now when you first place the views, they may not be in the right location, so you can start to move those around, and indeed throughout the whole process you'll probably move them around quite a bit. I like to have the ISO as a shaded view, so I will edit that and select shaded. To make it easier to dimension or annotate the battery clip holder, I'm actually going to create a section view. I'm going to put that over to the right hand side, so section, and just a short vertical line through the area where I want the section to be cut. Drag that over to the right. Now, it's probably a bit small. There's going to be a few dimensions on there, so let's increase the size of that and go to 1 to 1. That should be better. So I now have that section view created. Let's move a isometric over, give ourselves a little more space for dimensions. So the next phase then will be to start annotation. I like to put center lines on first because very often you put dimensions to center lines. So it's a good idea to get those on the drawing first and then add the dimensions. Choose some of the obvious ones such as the holes and the arc. I can then go about adding dimensions. Typically we would have overall length, width and height added. I like to start with that. And if you have a shared dimension, you should put it between the views. On the first dimension, remove that check mark from the Edit Dimension dialog box. Keep adding dimensions, in this case the width. Notice I'm dragging them out until you see that dotted line. Those are predefined distances away from the part. And you can see that right there. And zoom out. I'm going to continue to add dimensions to this part. One thing you should remember is that where you have a hole, you would go to something like the Hole and Thread tool. Select on that feature, and all the information that you put in when you created the hole is listed. I've added all dimensions and done a little bit of cleanup. I noticed that the arrowheads, for example, were over that text, so I just moved the section line back. It doesn't affect the view at all. And you can see the other dimensions that I've added. To add text to the title block, go into the browser and select iProperties. On the Summary tab, a couple of areas we can add information. So for title, we'll call this Battery Holder. Under Author, I'll change that to Autodesk Inc. I'm going to use that again, so I'm just going to copy that. Control C. Over to the Project tab. For Designer, I'll cut and paste that, so that's where the Autodesk Inc. reappears. Part number, I was going to make one up, 1000_0001. And you'll notice down at the bottom there's some other information we can put in. Description, battery holder, and further down if you have a cost or a creation date that you want to change, you can do that there. and that adds the text to the title block. So the drawing is now complete.